I always believed a marriage was built on small gestures. The coffee she left steaming on the counter in the morning, the little notes tucked into my lunch, the text that simply read, "I'm home after a long day." For 6 years, these gestures had been the invisible glue between Rachel and me. They weren't grand, but they were ours. I trusted them. I trusted her. Sitting in my office chair, I glance at the framed photos on the wall. Our wedding day, the two of us laughing in the park, the silly vacation pictures where Rachel had insisted on goofy hats. Each one tells a story, a memory, a promise I thought was unbreakable. Rachel's a nurse. She's always been dedicated, compassionate, the kind of woman who would sacrifice sleep to care for someone else. I admire that. I work as a medical technician myself, so I understand the pressure, the long shifts, the unpredictability. Our schedules are demanding but complementary, and for years it worked. She had her routines, I had mine. Mondays to Wednesdays she was on, Thursdays and Fridays off. Simple, predictable, comforting. I never thought to question anything. I never thought to look deeper. Because why would I? She never gave me a reason. Her smile was genuine. Her laugh reached her eyes. And even on stressful days, she always found a way to let me know I mattered. Tonight, though, something's different. I feel it deep down, like a ripple across still water. The house is quiet except for the soft hum of the fridge and the occasional click of my keyboard. I sip my coffee and think about the little routines that kept us together. I remind myself that love isn't always about fireworks. Sometimes it's about consistency, trust, and the ordinary moments that no one else notices. Little did I know, the first crack in that calm, ordinary life was about to appear, a crack so subtle that at first I wouldn't even recognize it. I'm sprawled on the couch, the game murmuring on the TV, when my phone buzzes. A routine text, I think at first, until I read it. "Don't wait up for dinner, I'm on shift tonight." I freeze mid-sip, the coffee burning the inside of my mouth. Tonight? That's Thursday. She's never scheduled on Thursdays. For a moment I try to dismiss it. Maybe she swapped shifts last minute. Maybe there's a mistake. I scroll through our messages looking for context. Nothing. Her tone is casual, almost cheerful, but it clashes with something deep inside me, a small, insistent alarm that I can't ignore. I tell myself I'm overreacting. I try to focus on the game, laugh at the players' antics, anything to drown the unease. But the feeling is like a stone in my shoe, impossible to shake. My fingers twitch as I reach for my laptop and check our shared bank account. $150, ladies' store. My heart skips a beat. I stare at the number, staring too long at nothing in particular. I replay every scene from the past few weeks, the new perfume she wears, faint but intoxicating, the manicures she suddenly insists on, the way her phone is always face down, battery at 2%, or left in the other room. At first, I'd laughed it off, told myself she deserved a little pampering, but now the coincidences feel deafening, like warning bells clanging in a quiet church. I close my eyes, lean back, and let the tension coil tighter in my chest. I don't want to be the paranoid husband. I want to trust her. I need to trust her. But my gut, stubborn and unyielding, whispers the truth I can't yet fully admit. Something is wrong. The night stretches before me like an endless hallway. Each creak of the house makes me flinch. The TV drifts into background noise as I replay every conversation, every smile, every small interaction over the past weeks. Nothing adds up, and yet, I hope I'm wrong. Sleep finally comes, but it's restless. I wake in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, replaying her text over and over. "I'm on shift tonight." The first crack in my perfect little world has appeared, and I can already feel the walls starting to crumble around it. I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the darkness of our bedroom pressing down on me. Every little detail of Rachel's recent behavior replays in my mind, like a montage I didn't want to see but can't turn off. The new perfume, faint but clinging to the sheets. The sudden obsession with her phone, always face down, always locked. The way she laughs at nothing in particular, yet a thrill hides behind her eyes. Each detail alone could be brushed off, but together, they form a pattern I can't ignore. I turn over again, heart hammering. I go through the last month in my mind, dinners she forgot, nights she said she was working late, casual mentions of friends I've never met. I feel a cold knot tighten in my stomach. The morning arrives, pale and gray. I make coffee, the aroma usually comforting, now bitter in my mouth. I glance at the clock, expecting her to come home from her shift. But the hours tick by, no call, no text, only silence. The silence screams. I pace the kitchen, restless. My mind races through the possibilities, each one worse than the last. Am I imagining it? Could it all be coincidence? The rational part of me wants to believe it's nothing, but the instinct deep inside screams that something is terribly wrong. I decide I cannot wait for explanations that may never come. I reach for my phone, calling the hospital. "Hi, can I speak to someone about Nurse Rachel?" The receptionist's voice is polite, but the answer hits me like a punch to the gut. "She isn't scheduled for any shifts this week, sir." I sink into the chair, the words echoing around me. She lied, flat out. The foundation I had trusted for 6 years feels like it's crumbling beneath me. My hands tremble, but not from fear. Anger simmers under the surface, sharp and cold. I sit there staring at the wall, letting the information settle. My mind begins to work, connecting fragments I had ignored, the expensive lingerie, the mysterious absences, the secretive glances at her phone. Each one was a thread, and now, in my hands, I see the tapestry forming. I feel the first real sense of betrayal, a bitter taste on my tongue, and an unrelenting need to uncover the full truth. I can't live in this half-world of doubt anymore. I need to see the picture in full. The hunt has begun. I can't sit still. The kitchen, once a place of morning coffee and casual chatter, now feels like a cage. Every noise, the hum of the fridge, the faint creak of the floorboards, sets my nerves on edge. I pace, phone in hand, mind racing. I need answers, not guesses, not assumptions, the truth. I call the hospital again, trying to stay calm, professional, as if a composed voice could somehow soften the blow of what I already suspect. "She's not scheduled," the receptionist confirms again, tone polite but firm. My knuckles whiten as I grip the counter. She lied. There's no other way to say it. I grab my keys. I need to see it for myself, to follow the trail wherever it leads. I drive first to the hospital, my stomach a pit of dread and anticipation. Nothing. Her car isn't there, no sign she's on duty. Next, I check her mother's house. Maybe she stopped by, but the driveway is empty. No car, no message, only the silence of a normal morning. My pulse quickens. The pit in my stomach grows heavier. Then, in a flash of desperate clarity, I remember the shared location app on our phones. I've barely ever used it, but now it feels like a lifeline. My thumb hesitates over the screen, a strange mix of fear and determination. Her dot blinks on the map. My heart freezes. It's not at the hospital, not at her mother's house. It's in an upscale neighborhood across town, a place she never mentions, never visits, or so I thought. I grip the steering wheel so hard my knuckles ache. The adrenaline surges, hot and sharp. I tell myself to stay calm, to be strategic. Anger bubbles beneath the surface, a wildfire threatening to consume every rational thought. But I know I need proof. Proof she cannot deny. I drive slowly through the streets, scanning, searching, and then I see it. Her car, unmistakable. Parked where it shouldn't be. My breath catches in my throat. I park a distance away, heart pounding. I wait. Minutes stretch into eternity, and then I see them. Rachel steps out of her car, laughing, her head thrown back, hand in his. Dr. Andrew Carlson. The way they move together, intimate, familiar, every laugh, every touch, every lingering glance is a confirmation I didn't want, but desperately needed. I grip the steering wheel, knuckles white. My chest tightens. The urge to confront them, to yell, to strike, to explode, is overwhelming, but I swallow it. I remind myself that anger is useless without evidence, strategy over emotion. I will gather proof they cannot refute. I take a mental photograph of every detail, their faces, their gestures, the luxury of the neighborhood that mocks the honesty of my home. This is only the beginning. I won't let this go unnoticed, not by her, not by him. The hunt has officially begun. I sit in my car, engine idling, hidden in the shadows. Every instinct tells me to leave, to drive away, but my body refuses. My eyes lock on the scene ahead. Rachel and Andrew, laughter spilling between them, a familiarity that should never exist. The street is quiet, almost painfully still, except for their voices. I watch as Rachel leans in, hand brushing against his arm. He rests his hand on her waist. The ease between them is unbearable. Then the kiss, soft, lingering, intimate, planted on her cheek. My chest tightens. I feel my blood pressure spike, my heart hammering as though it wants to escape my chest. I want to shout, to charge forward, to confront them and demand answers. But something clicks in me, a cold, calculated clarity. Rage is useless without strategy. If I explode now, if I act like a fool, all my chances to collect undeniable proof vanish. I need a record, something she cannot deny. I reach for my phone, hands shaking, and start documenting everything. Photos, notes, timestamps, all of it. Every laugh, every glance, every gesture becomes part of my archive. I'm meticulous, precise, obsessive. This is no longer just about suspicion, this is about evidence. Minutes stretch into eternity. Each one etches itself into my memory. I memorize their movements. The way she tilts her head when she laughs. The way his fingers brush hers. It's cruel. The intimacy of the scene, but necessary. I need this to protect myself, to validate the gnawing doubt that has haunted me for weeks. As they finally part ways, Rachel heading toward the car and Andrew in the opposite direction, I remain in my seat, silent, unseen. The urge to follow them, to confront them, pulses through me, but I fight it down. Patience, strategy, proof. I know now that nothing will ever be the same. The invisible glue of trust, the routines that once comforted me, have shattered. I take a deep breath, forcing calm into my lungs. My hands still tremble, but my mind is sharper than it's ever been. The confrontation is not over, not yet. I have the first undeniable glimpse, and now the next step begins, gathering the evidence that will leave no doubt, no escape, no lies to hide behind. The moment I step inside my house, the familiar warmth feels alien. Everything smells normal, coffee, her perfume lingering faintly, but my mind is on one thing, evidence. The confrontation on the street replayed in my head with unbearable clarity. I can't let this go, not a single shred. I sit at my desk, laptop open, heart still racing. I know her passwords, carelessly left notes, repeated patterns, and now they are my tools. I log into her email first. Deleted messages start to appear like buried treasure. I love you's clandestine plans, excuses for missed shifts, each one a dagger to the life I thought I knew. Next, her cloud storage, photos, messages, calendar entries she thought were private. Months of secrecy, meticulously planned, all laid bare. I save everything to a flash drive, careful to leave no trace, each file cataloged with dates, times, and locations. It's methodical, precise. The thrill of strategy replaces the sting of betrayal. Anger simmers beneath the surface, yes, but now it is controlled, focused. Every email, every deleted photo, every secret message becomes ammunition, proof that cannot be denied. I sit back, fingers steepled, and survey my work. This is more than evidence. It is clarity, it is power. The systematic nature of their affair, the deception spanning months, solidifies something in me. Hope may be gone, but resolve has taken its place. I think of the confrontation ahead. With this evidence, I won't stumble in fury. I won't be gaslighted or dismissed. I will confront with cold, undeniable truth. Every argument she could make, every tear, every excuse, they crumble in the face of what I now possess. The night stretches long, but I barely notice. Every click, every file saved, every message recovered feels like laying bricks in a fortress around myself. By the time I finally stand, flash drive in pocket, the house feels less alien. I am ready. Strategic, controlled. The game has changed. Now, it's not just about suspicion. It's about truth. And nothing, not even her, can escape it. She walks in, shoulders slumped, a tired smile pasted across her face. "Long shift," she murmurs, setting down her bag, her voice light, casual. But I see through it. I see the lie in the way she avoids my eyes, the tension in her hands. I remain calm, unnervingly calm. No raised voice, no trembling hands. I spread the printed messages across the kitchen table, emails, texts, photos, everything meticulously arranged. The evidence stares back at her, undeniable. Her face drains of color. She looks from the papers to me, searching for anger, for the storm she expects, but finds only cold calculation. My voice is calm, but every word lands like steel. I know everything, I say simply. Every late night, every lie, every secret message, every plan you thought I wouldn't see. I have it all. Tears prick her eyes. She tries to reach for the papers, but I pull them slightly out of reach. It's too late, I continue. You can cry, you can beg, you can blame me for being distant, but none of it changes what's already been done. She stammers, voice cracking. Marcus, it wasn't like you think. I don't want excuses, I interrupt, cold. I want accountability, and you will face it. I reveal my final moves. Dr. Andrews' wife received copies of everything this afternoon, and so did the hospital's ethics committee. There's no erasing this. Her hands tremble. She looks ready to collapse. I take a step back, giving her space, but the control remains firmly mine. I lay out my terms. I want you out of this house by the end of the week. Everything else is up to the consequences of your choices. She breaks down, sobs spilling freely, but it no longer affects me. The storm inside me has been replaced with clarity. Every action she took, every lie she told, has led us here. I am the calm in the aftermath, the one who will not be destroyed. I walk out, leaving her with the evidence, the consequences, and the bitter reality that trust, once broken, cannot be fully repaired. The reckoning is complete. The days that followed were surreal. News of Rachel and Andrew's affair spread quickly. The hospital suspended him pending an ethics review, and she was forced to resign. The divorce papers arrived a few weeks later, the settlements messy, bitter. Public humiliation, inevitable, unavoidable. I watched it unfold with a strange mixture of detachment and quiet satisfaction. I never gloated, I simply observed the natural consequences of their choices. The lives they thought were untouchable had crumbled under the weight of lies. And yet, I didn't feel joy, only a sober acknowledgement of truth. I sold the house. Every corner, every memory, every trace of our shared past was gone. In its place, I focused on work, on myself, on rebuilding the life I deserved. It was difficult at first. Loneliness clawed at me, a constant reminder of betrayal. But slowly, I found peace in routine, in stability, in truth. Then came Anna. Genuine, kind, sweet, uncomplicated. She had no baggage, no hidden motives. With her, I discovered trust again, not the fragile, brittle kind I once knew, but steady, rooted, and real. For the first time in months, I could breathe without the shadow of suspicion looming overhead. One afternoon, as I walked down a familiar street, I saw her, Rachel. Diminished, apologetic, a ghost of the woman I once knew. She approached cautiously, words faltering. I looked at her and saw not the woman who betrayed me, but the consequences of her own choices. Trust is like glass, I said softly, almost to myself. Once it cracks, it can never be perfect again. She nodded, tears in her eyes, but I didn't wait for excuses or apologies. You didn't lose everything, I continued. You chose this. I turned and walked away. This time, it was final. No rage, no longing. Just peace. The harvest had been bitter, unavoidable, but in it, I found clarity, strength, and a life rebuilt on my own terms. And in that rebuilding, I discovered something Rachel never gave me: true peace. Sitting at my new apartment, sunlight spilling across the table, I finally feel the quiet I've longed for. The past, Rachel, Andrew, the lies, the betrayal, no longer grips me. The storm has passed, the wreckage is behind me, and I am free to rebuild. I've learned something invaluable: love, even when genuine, is meaningless without respect. Trust, once broken, cannot simply be repaired with apologies or empty promises. It is fragile, like glass, and once cracked, the fractures remain visible to anyone who looks closely. The greatest revenge is not fury. It is not public humiliation or whispered gossip. It is the calm act of moving forward, of rebuilding a better life while leaving the betrayal behind. I chose this path. I chose to focus on what I could control: myself, my life, and the future I would create. I think of Rachel, diminished and humbled by her choices. I think of Andrew, stripped of the illusions of invincibility. They reaped what they sowed. And I, once poised to be destroyed, planted my own seeds of resilience, patience, and clarity. The harvest came, bitter, yes, but it nourished a new life. Anna sits across from me, laughing at something trivial, her hand brushing mine. In her, I have discovered something I never thought I'd find again: trust, simplicity, and peace. No secrets, no shadows, just life, lived honestly. I close my eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath. My chest is light, my mind quiet. I have walked through fire, and I have emerged unscathed, not because the world spared me, but because I refused to let it break me. Everyone reaps what they sow, I whisper to myself. Rachel planted lies in the fertile soil of my trust. The harvest came, bitter and unavoidable, and I, who could have been destroyed, chose to rebuild. And in that rebuilding, I found what she never gave me: true peace. I open my eyes, smiling faintly, and step forward into the life I've reclaimed. The past is behind me, and the future is mine to shape.